On a mission to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. This is the YWCA Hour with your hosts, YWCA Executive Director Karen Bell Dancy and YWCA Associate Director Maisha Essex. Welcome in to the YWCA Hour.
To the W with Karen Bell Dancy and Maisha Essex of YWCA right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And we are making our way through the month of February, which is known as Black History Month, celebrated by so many people in our community and across our nation, and not just people of color, but a lot of Americans that understand the pride of which it is to have the opportunity to really key in and celebrate of those of your culture. So, Maisha, tell us about the history of Black History Month.
Right, I definitely will. But I want to say first, we are recording this on Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes.
So
sweetest day.
Oh, so happy Valentine's Day. By the time you hear it, of course, it won't be Valentine's Day, but we still want you to know that we wish you a very happy Valentine's Day, and that you're at least in a position where you can give and receive some type of love today. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, the history of Black History Month, I think it's very important for us to understand, as Karen said, that Black History Month is not something only celebrated by Black people. Black History Month is American history.
Exactly.
It is just recognizing the people within our culture that have contributed so much to specifically the United States and the life that we know of today, and all the things that we are afforded to engage in today, that we were a part of building this history. And so it's really important for us to recognize it, because we weren't recognized, right?
Exactly.
Our inventions and contributions for a very long time was not recognized as part of, American history. It wasn't taught. And so it's great to have this month where we dedicate and just really recognized how Black people have contributed so much to American history. And so just as a little throwback to how Black History Month came about, there was really a predecessor in regards to Black History Week. And really, it was Negro History Week in 1926 by Carter G. Woodson, right? And the first Black History Week happened the second week of February, which, coincidentally, but it coincided with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and President Abraham Lincoln. And so it was kind of celebrated during that week. And it became popular across different campuses. Teachers really wanted to, because of Black student groups, that they really wanted to support them in regards to this history. So they were looking for different lesson plans and things to teach. And then years later, on the campus of Kent University in Ohio. Kent State University. Wow. In Ohio in 1969, Black educators and students proposed a Black History Month, which was first celebrated in 1970, and then other college campuses decided to celebrate it. But President Ford would go on to make it official in 1976. And so we celebrate, of course, Black History Month here during the month of February, but there are other countries that celebrate Black History Month as well, like Ireland and the UK, but they celebrate theirs during the month of October.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
interesting.
Absolutely. I just think it's really great to celebrate Black History Month. I'm really happy that it started, when you think about the history of it, how it started, at the school level.
Right.
Because when I think about, Black History Month, it honestly takes me back to school.
Right.
Because we used to celebrate it. I don't know how you used to celebrate Black History Month, but I grew up in some of my younger years in Chicago, which is where I was born. And Black History Month was a big deal in the school that I had attended. And so there would be assemblies, and you're celebrating all week, learning about the different prominent figures, black figures that have contributed to the history of America. And I just think I don't see that a lot now.
No.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting, Maisha, that you say that, because it sounds like that was so intentional. When I was growing up, small child in the 60s, of course, we did not have anything of that nature. I did not have any part of my educational process that really keyed in on the contributions of blacks in America until I reached high school. So had it not been for my parents, and especially my dad teaching me about Black Wall Street, and my mother talking about blacks being part of World War II and all of that, especially members of my family, I would not have any inkling about black history. And of course, at my church was really involved in that process too. So I'm glad to hear that was part of the curriculum. So it's interesting how the generations go. Mine really didn't have it as a small child. And then, of course, going through the Panthers and all of that. I remember all of that happening, late 60s, 70s, post-Vietnam. But to hear your generation having assemblies and all of that is amazing. I mean, that they were doing that.
It really was. And it was a way, of course, to get the kids engaged, actively engaged in learning black history. And like I said, I still remember some of the songs we sang.
Wow.
As a little cheerleader about Marian Anderson. That's how I remember who she is, because I go back to the little cheer we did. She sing like a bird. The people love to hear her as she sang every word. She was born in Philadelphia, traveled this far. She sang so beautiful, she became a star. That's how I remember. It was so intentional. Okay. And so learning about the different figures. And so it was a way we felt so much pride in learning about it, especially as a young child. You just, because again, when you look out into society, the message is totally different.
Right.
About your people and how you contribute to society. A lot of times the message is that you take from.
Right.
Society, that you're a part of what's wrong with
and
society.
Can I ask you a question really quick? Was your school really integrated, or your community segregated? What was it like? Did you have black teachers? Okay,
we did.
Said a question and I went to three.
we did, okay. And that's probably part of it. Again,
exactly.
The school that I had attended, it was mostly black kids, at that school, or Hispanic kids at the school. And so, we did have black teachers. And so, it was very, very important that they instilled that within us, that you too, the examples of how you can contribute to society, and that it has been done. And here's the lineage in regards to community of where you come from, and your culture of where you come from. So don't listen to the outside world that tells you that, again, how you contribute to society is by taking away, and that it's negative, and that you're somehow subhuman, and that black people just don't do anything, and they're just
no
aggressive.
Aspiration.
They're aggressive, they're lazy, they're violent, all these things that they want you to believe about our community. But having, again, we learned about it throughout the year, but that month dedicated to learning more about the people who, again, have contributed so significantly to this country. I mean, let's start with the enslaved people. We know we built the economic structure here. We built the economy.
Exactly.
It was built on literally our back. So I'm talking about a contribution.
Right.
Starting from the get-go. So just really...
A contribution that you did not intend to give.
If not intend to give at all.
Right.
And it wasn't even paid for.
Exactly.
So we talking about all, and going back and really looking at, how we contributed and how we're just not recognized for it. And then learning about, a lot of the black people who invented things, but because they didn't patent it, we attribute it to somebody else, or a white inventor who understood the system a little bit better to get the recognition.
Exactly.
So it's just, again, interesting. And I I would hope that here, even in Lincoln, because it is American history, that we would talk about it. And then just knowing what it does to the students who are Black, you know, in that to be sitting in the classroom and see somebody who looks like you, and now we're talking about a person who looks like you, and how they've contributed so significantly. And honestly, if you don't teach Black history in the education system, you're really not preparing your students.
Exactly.
I don't understand how how it's not even just standard, really, to integrate that into the curriculum for history and math and science and things like that. Because again,
and we're regressing into that. So especially,
that,
you know, now we're hearing that references to Tuskegee Airmen need to be taken out of the textbooks. You can't erase history. You cannot erase fact. So you can omit it if you want, but that history is still there.
Right.
And it's still real.
And again, it just does a disservice to us as a country, obviously as a community, you know, with people who worked so hard, as we're talking about, you know, the students at Kent State University and Mr. Woodson. It took them, you know, effort. It took so much effort for them to put this in place so that we can have this month of recognition for how Black people have contributed. And there was a purpose for that, right? It's definitely a purpose for that, because, again, we were not given the credit. We were seen as the opposite of not contributing to American history, which, again, Black history, and I'll keep saying it, it is American history.
Exactly, yes.
And so, I just wish that we would implement intentionality around Black History Month a little bit more with the schools. And I know we're having a hard time right now because of the attack on, you know, DEI and what that means within publicly funded spaces. Public spaces, that's funded by the government, what that means and what that looks like. But it is, like you said, regressing. It is going and pulling so far back. Exactly. I mean, Black History Month, we just talked about how long it's been around. The week since 1926, officially recognized in 1976. It has been around for so long. And, you know, wanting to erase, as you talked about, our history out of history books, that's not even DEI. That's not the current situation of attack on DEI. That is just trying to eliminate it all. Like it's there. It seems like they're taking this umbrella of DEI and they're taking it and they're stretching it as far as they really want to get rid of.
How deep does it go? That's what I've been trying to figure out. How deep does it go? And you know, here in Nebraska, we just either it was the last unicameral or two ago, I kind of get them confused sometimes, that we just recognized one of our own here in the state of Nebraska, Malcolm X. And so there were actually some on the committee, I won't name names, that wanted to say, well, why do you need to have now a separate recognition for Malcolm X? Why don't you just add it in to MLK holiday? Yeah. So this goes back to what you were saying earlier about the real history being part of the curriculum, and
they don't even know.
Be so intentional, and these are elected officials here for our state. And then the committee member said it can just be a multicultural day. Well, okay. So this is why
multicultural and Black is not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not.
Yeah.
And we are part of
but
multicultural.
That was, and so we do have some of our elected officials, which is why folks pay attention to who you're voting for, know their platform, know their agenda, know their voting history. And how does that align with your own personal core values? So I'm sorry I deviate a
No,
little
that's fine.
bit, but
Yeah.
just saying that this is an actual thing that happened here within our own legislature here in the state of Nebraska.
And you know what? If people don't understand, if we got some people that are like, well, why does it matter? Or some people who are
Yes.
listening, just think about the fact of the whole entire situation, that we're talking about black history and fighting for black history to be told at governmental levels. Like, do you have to do that? If you're not black or of color, do you have to do, like, think about that. Your history
Yes.
is just a part of this quote unquote standard. You don't have to go. We literally have to fight for our history to be told, which is American history, to be a part of the curriculum, to be a part of the standard, that we have to fight for it.
Yeah.
And even now, it's not really a part of the standard. As you said, you know, you didn't really learn about it until high school. You know, and thinking about, you know, why I decided to go to an HBCU, that was one of the reasons.
Yes.
I wanted to
Yes.
learn, for me, the totality, with political science and things like that as my major, the totality
Right.
of it all, like of the history, you know, in regards to the movements. I don't want to learn about it from just a skewed perspective
Right.
of what was going on and what was happening at that time, because if you're not teaching history that is encompassing of the actual people who were there and did it and put in the work, then it is skewed.
Right. And
So-
I do you it's
Yeah.
totally right.
You're
and
not really
I can give
teaching
you a prime
history. Yeah.
example that I always use when I was coming up through my elementary and high school years. In the history books, first of all, let me say, history was not a favorite course of mine because I could not stand trying to remember all those dates of everything and all the presidents in line of which they held
In order.
office, you know. So I will
Yeah.
admit that. But whenever the black history was just always a real small chapter in the history book, if it was included. And there would always be one picture of Dr. King. They may have one picture and him, you know, with the I Have a Dream speech in front of the monument, in front of the reflecting pool. But then there would always be a picture of Marcus Garvey. And they would find the worst picture of Marcus Garvey that they could, you know, when he was in the parade riding in the chariot and he looked so mean. And they would always have in there the narrative that he just wanted all the black people to go back to Africa. If you ever read the real history around Marcus Garvey and what he did for black people and what he was trying to do, you would understand. But of course, the textbooks from which I was learning from wanted to skew the history as what you were saying. And it really did. And when I said I finally had a teacher in high school, it was in my junior year of high school, that really dove into all the history, he wasn't even a history teacher. He happened to be a pastor who taught my human sciences class, and he decided that he would put even more in there because he had a group of black students in that class. So very interesting. And now that we have banned books, and you'll see a lot of significant black authors that are being banned. Now we have where professors have lost their positions at different universities because of teaching black history, women's history, what have you. And now the attack on just eliminating all that kind of significant history out of books. We're going to perpetuate another generation that don't know. And so it's very scary to me about that proposition. It's very scary to me the way things are going now, that we may lose Black History Month as a recognized month to celebrate a culture. And if that happens, now do we go to Hispanic Heritage Month? What happens next?
Yeah, I think it's the attack on DEI just has allowed them, like I said, to reach so far back and to reach in
Yes.
other places by just saying that it's DEI. that
Right.
word. Even stuff, again, DEI has, while that has been around, I know, for a long time, however,
Right.
it became a little bit more popular and intentional with different, organizations and companies, right after George Floyd. And so
Right.
they are taking it and, again, using it as a weapon
Right.
to eliminate so much stuff that
Yes.
that hasn't come out of the current format or structure since then, of like 2020, again going back and trying to eliminate the Tuskegee Airmen out of history
Right.
books. And what does that got to do with it? Just, again, it's an umbrella right now to do so much, and they found a way to again weaponize it to people who want to listen and want to believe,
Right.
the rhetoric around it,
Exactly.
the false narrative around it.
Yes.
And they are able to now go in and cherry pick in so many different departments, in so many different areas, and just say,
Yes.
oh, that's DEI. That's just DEI. Let's go all the way back. Let's go over here. Oh, that's just DEI.
DEI. But a couple of years ago, it was critical race theory.
Right.
So
Right.
here we go.
Or, like, again, it's DEI, but us celebrating Black History Month in the school, we've been celebrating that since what, 19? That you've been doing it since 2005 at your
And-
school, but somehow
exactly.
you done came back and was like, it's DEI. Oh, it wasn't DEI before 2020,
Right.
Like, no, it was. It wasn't a bad thing. I mean, before 2020, we were celebrating. Again, it's just allowing them to reach back and erase whatever they want to erase by saying it's DEI. Yeah.
Wow. America. Yes.
So I think it's, as you said, we have to look at the why behind it. Like, why is this the stance, right? And I can say I think I have my answer as why I believe this is the stance.
Right.
And it's because I believe they feel like they're losing power, right?
It's the fear.
Yeah, and they want to go back to a time
Right.
where they felt that they had 100% control. And so we got to get rid of all the things and all the narratives and all the everything that really says that other people somehow are just as good, has contributed just as much, can contribute just as much or more
Actually, more. Actually,
than what they
more.
can do. So let's get
Yes.
rid of any
Yeah.
narrative
Let's
that says
be
that.
real.
Let's,
Yes.
Yeah, because we don't want people to start really believing that,
Right.
and believing that they have that their seat at the table isn't an option that we give, but
Right.
it's something that they should have. And so right now it's, again, just an attack on, we're talking about Black history, but it's an attack on anything that we have viewed in the past as othered, right? That we were trying to make space for, so that wouldn't be the term that we use, the othered, So, and right now we're having to, like, stand firm and stand tall and try to, withstand this and this attack
Right.
on what we know is great for this country.
Right. And
Yeah.
staying true to the history. It's the true history. So whether your ancestors were on whichever side of the history, you just have to embrace that.
That is fact.
It is fact.
It is fact. Why are you trying to get rid of fact? What are you doing? Again, it's skewed. And then, then there is a reason behind why you're trying to do it. And if you're supporting people who are trying to do it, you got to look in the mirror, because,
That's right.
we don't want to call ourselves something that, we never want to say we're that.
Right.
That's not us. We're not that. We're not racist. We're not sexist. We're not homophobic. We're not that. But if your actions, however, comma, if your actions,
Right. Own it.
I mean, because that's what's happening. You can't,
Yes.
you can't support all these things and then say you're not. You're supporting this, and so you have to take a look in the mirror. If you for real believe that that's not you, then you need to really look at what you're supporting, because you are, and you can't say, well, I'm only supporting this policy because it may give me may give something back to me, but if this policy is taking away so much from other people,
Right.
then we have a problem,
Yeah.
right?
We have a problem.
We
with
have a
humanity.
big problem with humanity.
With humanity.
If you rather
Yes.
say this policy may give something to me, even though I know it's going to take a lot from them, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to vote for it, right?
Right.
I'm going to push for it. I'm going to advocate for it because
Yeah.
it's going to give me something back. And then in reality, when you realize that it ain't giving you nothing back, all it did was just take away and give to the people who already have.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So with that, Maisha, we'll take a break. I encourage you, if you have the opportunity, to go look up some of these different contributions of Black folks to the history of America. Every time that you go through a traffic signal, you can thank Garrett Morgan.
No, he was on my list.
Yes. When you go to Washington, D.C., you can thank Benjamin Banneker because he laid out the plans for D.C. So, and the list goes on and on and on. And Maisha will get into talking about some of those specific things around those inventions and things that we rely on every day. And look who was the contributor or the designer or the architect of that. Thanks. We'll be back.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead. Sleep in. You deserve it. And choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services, as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through February 18th is 15% off chocolates, 15% off wines and spirits, and $10 off filet mignon per pound. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
What's the radon level at your home? Don't know? Find out with a call to Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Make sure your home is safe with a radon check from Bryant. If you've already tested, ask Bryant for a free estimate for mitigation. Once completed, you'll get a report showing how much safer your home is. When it comes to radon, call Bryant 467-1111 for testing and mitigation. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Back to the YWCA Hour. Here are your hosts, Karen Bell Dancy and Maisha Essex.
So we're back with the W with Karen Bell Dancy and Maisha Essex, and we are talking about the history behind Black History Month and how that came to be recognized as such a huge part of our American history. And with that, we started talking about some of the contributions that Black Americans have given and how we need them in our everyday life, and we don't even realize who the actual inventor or creator of these things were. Let's talk about some of those things, Maisha.
Yeah, you started with Garrett Morgan, the inventor of the traffic light and the gas mask. And then he also made some improvements to the sewing machine.
Right.
But yeah, next time you go through traffic safely, thank Garrett.
You have the red, yellow, green.
Right, and he added the yellow yield because I believe he was the first Black man to own a car in Ohio, but he had seen an accident. And so that's when he decided to add the yellow yield.
The slow
to
down
the original
and yield.
system to warn drivers to slow down.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
so you know what? Again, like I said, thank him. Black history.
Thank you, Gary.
You use it every day,
right?
It's something that is essential, not just here, across the world.
Right.
It is essential. And so, you know what? We thank Garrett Morgan. Another one, Frederick McKinley Jones. He actually was the inventor of refrigerated trucks. And so his patent, it was a roof-mounted cooling system that is used to refrigerate, different goods on trucks. When you're, transporting different goods, it came into handy during World War II, where the military had employed the company that he co-founded, Thermo King, to safely transport food, blood, and other supplies.
Wow.
So, yeah, talking about contribution to American history, to some of the wars that we have fought here and how Black people have contributed so much into the military. And you talked about the Tuskegee Airmen just a little bit. And so, yeah, that. Madam C.J. Walker.
Oh, my goodness.
You know about Madam C.J. You know about Madam C.J. Walker.
Did you see the movie?
Right.
If you haven't, go to Netflix.
Yes. That's hair care, African American hair care products. As you know, if you don't know, just by looking, our hair don't look the same,
right?
as other folks, right? In regards to like the texture of it, and what we need in regards to moisture and scalp care and things of that nature. And of course, when we were brought over here, and just to say, quite frankly and blatantly, trafficked over here.
Middle Passage.
Yes. Of course, there was no emphasis on the hygiene routine of the enslaved.
Right.
And so even when we became, free, there was still a lack of different products in regards to hygiene care. And so for Black folks in the community, because we really were just taught to assimilate, right?
Exactly.
And to try to transition into what the standard of beauty was here. But that didn't work for the type of skin, hair, whatever that we have, just to assimilate and to start using their products. Did not work for us, right? We have different needs. And so it is amazing that Madam C.J. Walker, due to her own ailments that she had with her hair,
her scalp,
was able to create, a laboratory in hair care products and go around the country and educate people for African American hair.
And became a millionaire.
Yes, yes, she did.
Yes,
she did. Yes, she did. And so, I'm so happy that we have a lot of different, entrepreneurs and creators and inventors that have created so much. I think in the past, I don't know, when I was in college, natural hair really was something like big,
right?
Transitioning to natural hair, and that's when I decided to do it. And we have a lot of people within our community that have created so many great products for our hair, and then has educated us on our hair because we didn't know. My parents didn't know about the best way. They only did what they knew to my hair. And again, it was to assimilate. So one of the things that was big within our community was I know it's called a relaxer, but we typically called it a perm, which does the opposite. We know, but that's just our cultural lingo. It was a perm, aka the relaxer, which has, really harsh chemicals, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can really cause some issues, right? And it can cause some issues, all the chemicals and things in it. But again, it was to get our hair straight, right? Because our natural hair was just seen as something that was unruly, that wasn't really pleasant or aesthetically pleasing to just society in general, right? You had to have your hair a certain way just to go to work, things like that. And so they were just, put in a place where they had to survive. And I know you're like, had to survive with hair. Yeah, you can't get a job. You used to not be able to get a job because of what naturally came out my scalp. So that's just something that they passed down through generations. But it was amazing once we got to this point where it became a big movement to embrace our natural hair and our curls and our textures and whatever we have growing out of our hair, not to only embrace it, but to learn more. I mean, while embracing it, learn a little bit more about how to take care of it and what it needs, and that it's beautiful, right? What they use to take care of their hair, I mean, we don't, it's just the system, right? And so, and we also have a system that's needed to take care of our hair. And it's just great when I go to schools and I see little girls and they got their little puffs in their head. Their little puffs and they're cute.
That's my granddaughter.
Yes, I love it. I love going to school and seeing that because when we were younger, we all had the straight, relaxed.
In my day, guess what they were?
And
Shirley Temple curls.
Yes.
That was actually a hair do. I have Easter pictures with Shirley Temple curls.
Yes. And so,
wow.
Yeah, and not saying that we're, again, we have a lot of ways of expressing ourselves through our hair. And I think that is so amazing about our community. And so being able to incorporate, well, what does it look like when you are working with your natural hair?
Right.
And how do you take care of it? And so we do have to give props to one of the first.
Yes. And with our hair and the intricacies of braiding, I love that history. A lot of people don't know that history. That was one way that the enslaved actually communicated of where they would meet and the paths they would follow in part of the Underground Railroad. It was actually braided into the hair. Look how profound that is and how thoughtful that was in that time period to use the hair as an avenue to escape to freedom.
Yeah.
How significant.
It really is.
Yes.
Okay, the next one, we should all know him. George Washington Carver.
Oh, my goodness.
Peanut butter.
Yes.
Yes. I always love that video of the little boy.
Little George.
Oh, the little boy who is spelling out Nutella.
Oh.
And I don't know who it is, a father or something who's recording was like, okay, now what's that spell? Peanut butter.
Yes.
That's like my favorite little video.
Oh,
but yeah, of course.
And that museum, so I can say I've had the opportunity because his boyhood home is in Missouri, my home state, to go down and see his boyhood home and where he started from. So there's actually a museum there. But I've also had the opportunity to visit Tuskegee. And, before it was Tuskegee University, it was Tuskegee Institute. And he was a professor there. And he taught, and that's where he had his lab. And he did all of the experiments with the peanut. And the peanut is more than peanut butter. And so, oh my God, that history is amazing. And so on the campus of Tuskegee it is a great monument of him, and also a really great museum around his laboratory. It's still there.
Yeah. Great. The next one that I have, if you like this, and like everybody does, everybody does. If you like potato chips, you gotta thank Mr. George Crumb.
Yes.
You have to thank. And we
Every
all
time you
like
crunch.
every time you hear crunch, think of Mr. George.
Yes.
Okay, and thank Mr. George Crumb for his invention of the potato chips, which I believe they said it just happened by accident.
By accident.
Yeah, a
That's what-
customer
yeah.
sent back a potato or something that they didn't like. But yeah, he never actually got it patented though. But he was
Wow.
the inventor of
The
potato chips. And let me tell you, I love them.
Yes.
I love them. I cannot imagine a life without
I've
a potato
never
chip.
met anyone that did not like potato chips. So
Okay, it's because it's all different. Like the basis of it, it's the foundation to all the different kinds of chips that we all like
Right.
now. So yeah, we thank Mr. Crumb. But another one, Marie Van Britton Brown, she invented the home security system back in 1966. So again,
wow.
securing your home, which a lot of us have, you know, different devices to do that. She was the one who invented home security system.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So those are some of the inventors that, you know, I had on my list here that I wanted to bring to the forefront for today. To talk a little bit about. And all of these are essential, you know, to our everyday life.
Oh,
The
there
traffic,
are.
potatoes,
And the list goes
chips.
on and on. When you think about using a washing machine, a dishwasher, your car, driving your car, there are so many black inventors.
GPS.
That GPS, yeah, and that was a black female that invented the GPS, and it just goes on and on and on. And you know, as you were going through that list, Maisha, I was thinking about the hidden figures.
Katherine Johnson.
And finally, they got the recognition of who they were, albeit a movie and Kevin Costner. Is that who was in there? Kevin Costner, you know, but the real emphasis in there is look at who the mathematicians were. And this goes back to our history and our history as a people. The original engineers, the original scientists, and a lot of the reasons why some of these inventions even came into play is because while black folks were enslaved or either right after post-slavery, they had to come up with these things to try to make life easier for them. They weren't even thinking about, oh, I'm going to do this for all of America or whatever, but because of the work that they had to do. But as you said, you really keyed in on something earlier, Maisha, that they didn't really, probably weren't privy to the process of getting something patented or the copyright or knowing that. So then they were locked out of not only the recognition, but also the economic factors of being the one to come up with these kinds of inventions. So,
And you,
yeah.
and you know what I would say. I think when we talk about different kinds of inventions, depending on what they are, most of the ones that I read today, they're very kind of general, right? So you talked about some of the what you just mentioned, maybe with some of the inventions that were used, like the Madam C.J. Walker, and you know that specifically trying to connect with African American hair back then. But a lot of the inventions were not done in respect to just the community, right? With the things on the list. So we're talking about the traffic light. That was just safety for all.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and traffic and you know, the mapping of DC, and we're talking about it, you know, refrigerated trucks and how that came into play. And I think people really need to understand that that is the culture of black folks. It's the opposite of what you think.
Exactly.
It is the culture of Black folks that whatever we do, it extends out to everyone else and makes their life better.
That's right.
We haven't ever done anything really that is just specifically going to improve our community only, right? I was listening to some people discuss, with Asian history and how it really changed after they came back over because of the civil rights. Now they had rights, right? So it was just, how civil rights wasn't just for Black folks. Civil rights is for, all of humanity, right? And people who live here in the United States. And that is the culture of Black people here. We haven't done anything that was just
right.
Our contributions extend into, that's why we keep saying American history.
Right.
It keeps extending into, uplifting all people.
Very much. Yeah.
And that's again the culture of Black folks, and that's why we will continue to recognize and celebrate the people who have come before us, who have done so much. When you're thinking about all the things they had to go through to do this, we're not talking about people at this moment on this podcast. We're not talking about people today, who invented things in the last 10, 15 years. We're talking about people who invented things back in the early 1900s and things like in late 1800s and things like that, and all that they were going through oppression. Just think about all the trials and tribulations they had to go through to even be recognized, to do the things that they were doing, to, again, provide and make life better for a country that did not care for them.
Did not care, and just wanted to keep stripping them of their humanity.
Yeah. And all we have done is contribute to humanity and to, again, making the lives better of all, in this country.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and on that note, we have come to a next break. This is a great conversation. We'll be back.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
At Lincoln Family Chiropractic, they believe everyone deserves to live a pain-free and active life. Whether it's neck pain, shoulder pain, or lower back pain, Lincoln Family Chiropractic specializes in customized care for every patient to promote faster healing, allowing you to get back to an optimal life. Lincoln Family Chiropractic's team specializes in treatments such as dry needling, cupping therapy, and traditional adjustments. Give Lincoln Family Chiropractic a call today, 402-484-5166. Visit them online at lincolnfamilychiro.com or in person, 1 block south of 70th and 8th Street in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center, Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to the YWCA Hour. Here are your hosts, Karen Baldancy and Maisha Essex.
Thanks for coming back to the W with Karen Baldancy and Maisha Essex. And we have had such a great discussion talking about Black History Month, why this is a month and how it came out of Black History Week, what's been significant in the history of Black contributions to American history. And so we always think about during Black History Month, that's when they're going to sing the Black National Anthem, which originally was called the Negro National Anthem. And that's because, Maisha, as you mentioned earlier, the word Negro at that time, that's what was being used. And before Negro, I think they were colored. And so, yeah, that's a very interesting piece of history, too, when we talk about Jim Crow and all those iterations of who we are as a people. But we are Black folks and proud to be Black folks. So with that Black National Anthem, which incidentally was not written to be a song, it was a poem. And it was written by James Weldon Johnson, who at the time was the head of the NAACP. And as you know, the NAACP is an organization that is not specifically for Black people, so that's a misnomer that we want to clear up too, but it was for people of color. So largely within the NAACP membership, you see a lot of Jewish folks that also part of the organization. So that's just a side note I want you to tuck in and remember. But with the national anthem, he first read that poem to a group of students. And because the NAACP, they were getting ready to do a convention, they decided to write music and actually compose that into a song. And this song for us is very spiritual. And so that's why when you hear folks sing the song, it's a very reverent piece for folks of color, because it's a way that we pay homage to our God that we believe stayed with us and is still with us through all the trials of slavery, post-slavery, and on the quest to freedom and peace. It means so much to us. And that's why when the song is sung, you're supposed to stand. You're asked to stand. If you have a hat on, remove your hat. But it's just the same kind of thing and the same level of respect that we have for the Black National Anthem as we do for the Star-Spangled Banner or any other song that represents America. And so it's so interesting to me that as I watched the Super Bowl, this past week, that let us see, Maisha, we won't talk about the Super Bowl right now.
You don't want to.
Oh, it's okay. I'm good. I'm still that big fan.
You still standing?
Yes.
All right.
Still stand with them forever.
Yeah.
But that song was sung, and the NFL have started recognizing and adding the Black National Anthem as part of the opening for every game. And now we have all these folks that are finding and pushing back. They're finding a problem with singing that song. And I think you kind of alluded to it earlier, Maisha, mentioning that as we learn quote American history. We've had to always listen to American history, but not really hear the contributions of other folks to American history. So it's the same kind of notion with the anthem. We have the national anthem, and then now that the Black national anthem is being recognized, that there are individuals that have a problem with it.
You know, and I didn't know, I mean, that it was for every game. I didn't know that. I just thought, honestly, that it was for Super Bowl, because Super Bowl takes place in February, that they incorporate the Black national anthem. So that's something.
NBA.
Okay.
NBA.
Not
NFL.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I do know, of course, that you have people who somehow think, oh, we got two national anthems. No one said it was the second American.
Because it's not two nations.
Right. No one said it was the second United States of America national anthem. No one said.
Yes.
No one said that at all. And it being, something like, I don't know, what do y'all think? People going to be confused as to which one is which? I don't see them playing it at a national level. They're not also playing it at the Olympics.
Right.
So, I don't think that's a problem, people, is that somehow, when we recognize that song in different spaces, and especially, like I said, during, Black History Month with the NFL, I thought, during Black History Month, because it takes place in February and all of that, that's not sending mixed signals, people, of which one is the national anthem.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it seems like the foundation is the plot is to play ignorant. Like, we're just going to play so dumb. Like, everybody's going to think if they hear that song that is somehow that's the national anthem. It's not. You learned the pledge and the national anthem in school. We did not necessarily learn that's not being taught at every school. It's not being implemented in every school. It's not going to go down, because we talk about fact, it's not going to go down in history book as the national anthem for the United States. I don't know why we're acting like somehow people are going to get confused and it's sending a different signal to the world. No, it's not. It's celebrating. We are celebrating our community, our culture, what we've been through in this country. The fact that this country rarely recognizes what we've been through and want to, do something about it as a country, rather than the people themselves trying to fix it, even though we didn't put it in place and didn't do it. Those things that we can't even celebrate, our plight.
Right.
Without it being misconstrued as something else, so it can be taken away.
Exactly.
And so I know when I was younger, and it's not again taught in schools, really, but when I was younger in Chicago, the school that I went to when I was in elementary school, we did actually sing it, but we sang it after we said the pledge.
Right.
And then we say the Black national anthem. And I was in elementary school, and I knew that the Black national anthem was not the national anthem, even in elementary school, and I was being taught both. So the fact that we're playing ignorant as if somehow all this confusion is going to go into play, and that's dividing the world, it never did. Like, I learned it in elementary school, throughout high school. We went to different events. We had to sing it. Not one time did it divide me as to which one is America. Or now it's two countries instead of one.
Yes.
It doesn't. We are very intelligent humans that can understand the complexity of different things.
Yeah, and that's just, when you look at the words, when you actually read the words of, and I'll say the poem, a lot of people have issues with those words, because he really wrote to the truth of what the Black people went through, and being slaughtered, and where we died and all of that. But it ends with the hope, and so even the music to the song, the way they compose the music of the song, it becomes uplifting the more you sing it, and as you end the song, it is an uplifting song. And so that song was only written to tell the truth of what actually happened. So it's very interesting, the pieces that we do find, as you mentioned before, that we want to key in on, that we feel may cause division. That's what I call all that rhetoric of folks that just want to continue to cause dissension. And so I'm hoping, as we continue to move through the month of February, that all of us, and those of you who are listening, will engage in some activity that opens you up to a new culture, a new group of people, a new understanding about what they brought to the history of America. And thanks again. We always appreciate you being here and listening to us on the W. This is Karen Beldancy and Maisha Essex. Take care.